同学们好. Hello, everybody. It is Monday, the 31st of January. It is class 5 of our first section study of the Young Family Traditional Form. Today we'll be finishing Grassbird's Tale. We've done ward off right, ward off left, ward off right, and roll back. Today we'll do press and push. And I'll also be showing you the next installment in our long adventure of learning and practicing our waist movements. But as always, we start with still practice, which Master Young says one should balance with moving practice. So this is not a 50-50 balance, it's more of a 95-5 balance, but we'll start with that. So start with your feet. Now back up a little bit, because we'll add something. So if you are mirroring me, if I'm mirroring you, step out to the left, shoulder width or more, feet parallel, sink the weight, bend the knees, arms out. Let's do a few minutes here. So we'll start with our body posture checks. There are 4. The order doesn't matter, but today we'll start at the top of the head. So feel the top of the head pushing up and feel the rest of your body hanging down from the neck on down. So you want your upper body light and your lower body heavy. Now sink the shoulders, drop the elbows. Next, the third one is absorb your chest and round the back. Then relax the waist by dropping your hips down. Check your body setting, so you're tilted forward slightly at the hip so that you have weight over the bubbling well, equal forwards and back. And also make sure you've got crotch rounded. That's 1 minute. So let's try our breathing. So with your mouth closed, if you can today, take 3 soft, deep inhalations and exhalations. And as you breathe in and out, see if you can watch your abdomen. See how your belly responds to your breath as you breathe in. Belly expands. As you breathe out, the lungs collapse, the belly goes in. Now just watch. Just see if you can find and observe how your breathing in your abdomen is going. And as you practice on your own account, try changing your posture slightly, and then see how that affects your breathing. So for example, tilt your whole torso back and see what happens to your breathing. For me, it tightens up. Then come back forward and see if you can find the sweet spot where your breathing is even. That's 2 minutes. Usually we try and build up and stay longer. Now we're going to move to doing standing practice in the bow stance. So if I'm mirroring you, shifting my weight to your left side, open my right toe to the corner, shift my weight over, and step forward into a bow stance. So we're doing a bow stance to the front. My chest is square. My torso is tilted. My hips, my tailbone is centered on those 2 parallel lines between my heels, front to back. The weight, 60% in the front, 40% in the back. Back leg naturally straight. Front leg bent, but toes not over knees. Feel your crotch rounded, so your knees aren't collapsing in. Feel the weight over the bubbling well. That means it shouldn't be easy to lift your heels or the balls on either foot. That's maybe a bit of work. So let's shift, try the other side. So shift back your weight, pick up the foot that was in front, put it next to the other one, both are now pointing to the corner. Shift your weight over to that new back foot. Step out. Heel, ball, toe, bend, knee. You're in a bow stance. The same posture checks. But once you've done those, check your upper body. So head up. So even though your torso is tilted forward, your head is up. Shoulders down, elbows down. Chest rounded, chest sinking back rounded. Feel your waist relaxed. Feel crotch rounded. And as more minutes pass, we're just going to do 1 minute here. You can check your breathing. So let's change again. Shift your weight back. Step your new back foot to the corner. Step out to a bow stance. Go forward. Now we're going to do the bow stance that we have in ward off left. So here our torso is vertical. To make our torso vertical, our hip and our chest are more than corner. So open quite a bit. But we're looking in the direction of our front foot. Don't just look with your eyes. Turn your nose so that your nose is pointing in the same direction as your front foot. Head up, shoulders down, elbows down, chest sinking, back rounded. Relax the waist. Do you have 60-40 weight? Crotch rounded. Try the other side. Shift back, pick up the front foot, put it back down. It's now the new back foot pointing at the corner. Step out into a bow stance. We'll start in the forward position. Then as your torso comes up, open your hips and your chest so that both your hips and your chest are pointing more than corner, but turn your head to look straight ahead. Torso vertical. Feel your head pushing up, everything else dropping down. Feel the weight on your feet, 60% on the front. Back leg, 40%, back leg normally straight, naturally straight. And breathe. Try and breathe in your belly. So now we'll finish. To do that, we'll shift our weight forward. If I'm mirroring you, onto the right foot. Bring the left foot in. Drop the hands. Breathe in as it goes up. Breathe out as you press down in front of your hips. This is the posture at the end of opening. And then hands by the side of your legs. And relax. So what we like to do with standing practice, if you do it every day and you start with a minute or you start with 30 seconds, then the week after do 1 minute and 30 seconds, then do 2 minutes, then do 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And actually over time, what you'll find is that your body starts adjusting itself and you'll start discovering how your body adjusts and keep doing the checks. And welcome to the folks who've joined us since we started, Heidi and Caleb and Ronald and Rima and Shudong and Michelle, all with us. Welcome. Are there any questions about still practice? And Maria? Okay. So it's nice to actually go from still practice into moving practice. And so let's start by doing our sequence practice, what we've done so far. I'll face in the same direction as you, I'm assuming. So facing the front, which we call 12 o'clock direction, we're going to turn to the right, or the 3 o'clock direction. Start in prepare. And here, the same checks that we had when we did standing practice. Head up, shoulders down, elbows down, chest absorbed, waist relaxed, so legs are naturally straight but not locked. Weight over the bubbling well. Take a breath or two. Opening, arms rotate and lift. up to shoulder height, palm shoulder width apart, pressing down. Palms stay parallel to the ground, to in front of your hips, almost to the bottom. Ward off left, shift your weight slightly to the left, open the right toe to the corner with body turning. Now, big circle, right arm up, left arm scoops down as you sit, close and step, then lift the left arm, pull down with the right, torso vertical, looking to the right side. Ward off right, shift your weight back slightly. Body turning, right, left toe comes into the corner. Sit your weight back onto the left, both arms rotate. As your foot goes in and out, close your arms. Then as you move forward, lift with the right arm. Roll back, turn at the waist to the corner, both arms rotate, and then sit back. Arms don't change, but waist turns, and you're ending with the palm pointing at the corner. And relax. Do that again. Prepare. Opening. Both arms rotate and lift. Arms hang, fingertips down slightly. As you turn around at the top, elbows lead, pressing palms down like a ball in water. Ward off left. Shift your weight to the left with body turning. Left hand forward a bit, right hand back a bit. Now a big circle as you sit your weight onto the right leg. Step straight out in front of you, bow stance width. Heel ball toe, lift. And you're looking to the side, torso vertical. Left arm to the side. Right tiger's mouth to the left forearm center. Ward off right. Shift your weight slightly to the right. Now we're going to do a swing, rotate, turn the body, both arms swing. Now, as you turn at the waist to the left, both arms swing and rotate. Close your arms as you bring your foot in and out. Step, shift forward your weight, heel, ball, toe, bend knee. Ending posture, your right elbow is in line with your right knee. Your right arm makes a big round circle, 1/4 circle in front of you. Your left fingertips are pointing at the right forearm center. You're looking over the center of your right forearm, body tilted forward, head up. Roll back. Swing, rotate with a waist turn to the corner. Your chest is square, arms, right arm to the corner. Now sit back your weight as you rotate the waist. The right arm comes to the corner and relax. Okay. Are there any questions about that? So one of the things that I mentioned a few times, and we'll practice again now, is the waist movement. And so you can see that there are lots of waist movements throughout the form, and it gets easier as your waist with practice gets looser. And so, for example, when we do roll back here, we're actually moving just our waist. We're not moving our hips, because if we moved our hips, we'd collapse our crotch. We want to keep our crotch open, so we want to be able to rotate at the waist. So to practice that, if you have a chair, please bring your chair. I will use a chair. If you wish, you can do this standing. If you are going to stand, I recommend you bend your knees and keep your crotch rounded so that you can immobilize your hips, so that when you practice this, you're just turning at the lower waist, at the waist, your lower back. Okay, so we're sitting down. Keep both your sitting bones equally weighted on the chair. Arms crossed in front of you, so this square shape, and keep this box in front of your chest. Don't move just your arms. When you rotate, the whole box rotates. So I will be thinking I am mirroring you. So if you are facing me, we're going to go to the left and the right, and we'll do 4 of these. To the left, 1. To the right, 1. 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Next thing we did was to move in the plane of our chest. Let's call this lateral movement. So we're going to go 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. And now we're going to do the chest transverse, in other words, out and back. So out and back, out and back, out and back, out and back. Let's do the horizontal movement, in other words, in this plane again. Now what I'd like you to do, if you haven't been doing it, is keep your head forward as your chest turns. So keep your head stationary, let your chest move, and let your neck accommodate it. So we'll just do 4. You can do 6 or 8 or however many you like when you practice on your own. We'll do 4. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Now, we moved laterally here and transversely here, but we can also do it at an angle. So turn your chest towards the left side. And now we're going to go still in the direction of the arms, but on this semi-diagonal. So 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Come to square, turn to the other side, and 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. If your arms get tired, you can always drop them and bring them back up again. Let's go back, pointing towards the left corner. Now we're going to do the transverse, in other words, chest out and back in this direction. So out, back, out, back, out, and back, out, and back. Come to square, go to the other side. Again, transversely, out and back, out, back, out, and back, out, back, out, and back. Okay. So that's to basically train over time. We'll just keep doing this. We won't do this every week because there are other things I want to introduce in this section of the class. But I hope that you will be able to find a few minutes a week to do this. We also talked about the function of the waist. So why do we practice this? Well, the one thing is that the waist acts to lead the limb. So when the waist turns, the arms move. So let's practice that. So arms out to the side. So as I turn my waist, you can see my arms move. So 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Now, we can also have the waist leading the arms. So I'm going to go to one side, come back, and then go back to the other side. And you'll see that they're out of phase. So swing to the right, swing back to the left. Swing to your right, swing back to your left. Try the other side. So we're going to swing to the left, come back to the right. Swing to the left, come back to the right. Swing to the left, come back to the right. That's swing. We also did rotate last week. So start with one palm facing out, one palm facing back, and turn your chest in the direction of the palm that's going to the front. So for me, it'll be this one. So I turn my chest towards that palm. Turn, 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 turn. And as I turn, turn, my arms don't have to stay in the same place. My arms can be anywhere, and they'll still do turn, turn. And it's the waist turn that's actually making the arms move. So stop, flip the palm. So the one that's facing forward, back, and the other one back, forward. Now we're going to do the other one. So you're going to turn your chest towards the palm that's going to go back, which is, for me, this one. My chest is currently pointing in that direction. So turn, 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 rotate, 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 and relax. And then we've done swing, we've done rotate. We can do swing and rotate. And this is what you saw us do in many movements, and we'll review that in a few moments. So we're going to start with the one palm, the outside palm is facing forward, comes to the other side, both arms rotate and swing at the same time. Swing, rotate, swing, rotate, swing, rotate. And as your arms move, rotate your arms the whole way. So don't rotate your arms, keep your palms in the same position, then flip at the end. Feel that as you do a swing, rotate, the arms are rotating all the time that the waist is rotating. Okay, and relax. Good. So walk around for a moment. Give me an opportunity and stretch out to just remind you that just because I ask you to do something doesn't mean that you should do it. If your body complains, if your doctor has said, don't do this kind of thing, if you have any doubts at all, don't do it. Just because it's Tai Chi Chuan doesn't necessarily mean it's good for you. It may not be right for your body right now. So with that caveat, we are going to start reviewing what we did last week, which is rollback. But before I do that, does anybody have any questions? Okay, no questions. So let us begin from the beginning so that we know where we are when we're going to start practicing. I will start with my back to you. So let's do the whole thing again from the beginning. Prepare. Opening, rotate and lift to shoulder height. Press down, palms shoulder width apart, almost to the bottom. Shift your weight slightly to the left. Open the arms. That's a swing. Now, as you sit, the arms one up, one down, step out. One arm comes up, other goes back. That's a swing. Now we're going to do ward off right. Shift your weight slightly to the right with body turning, turn the left toe in. That's a swing. So here, this movement, swing. Now, with the waist turning, grab to the left. This is a rotate. So here is a rotate. Close the arms, step out. So heel touch when the arms are closed. Shift your weight back forward, heel ball toe, bend knee. We are in ward off right. Roll back. So first we're going to do a swing rotate. So this is swing rotate. I'm turning at my chair, at my waist, and rotating my arms at the same time. Swing, rotate. Going to come back while I sit back my weight. My arms really aren't going to change. It's just going to be a swing. That's a swing. So we're coming, swing. So this is, we've done ward off right. So get into your position for ward off right. I'm going to change my position so that you can see me from the side. So we were in ward off right. So you're in a right bow stance, right leg forward. Right arm is a nice bow in front of you. Ward off right. Roll back. And pull down. So we are going to do press. This is what press looks like. I'm going to close my arms, turn my chest slightly, press out. Again, I've done roll back, press, and forward. So the first thing I want to talk about is let's just go back and review roll back a little bit before we get into press. So we'll do that from this position. So we're here. As I said, the first thing we'll think about is the footwork. So when I shift my weight to the right, when I rotate to the right, my footwork, my weight on my feet doesn't change. Then I'm going to sit my weight back. So I'm going to go from 60% on the front, 40% on the back, to this posture, which we actually call an empty stance, where it's 30% on the front and 70% on the back. So I'm going to shift back. I'm going to start here and I'm going to shift back. Next, we'll talk about the waist turns. So when we started in ward off right, you can see my chest is towards the diagonal. It's not towards the corner, but it's not straight either. It's sort of between the two. This is the direction of my chest. First thing I'm going to do is to go to the right until my chest is almost square. And as I sit back my weight, I'm going to come all the way over. My chest is actually going to be more than corner, less than side, or straight actually. So let's do those two together. First, rotate the waist, sit back. Again, we start with our chest a little bit on the diagonal, a bit between corner and square. First, turn the waist so that your chest is square. Now sit your weight back, turn through probably about 50 degrees, more than corner, so that you're ending pointing to more than corner, less than straight. Okay, do that one more time. So we started with our chest a little bit off the straight direction. Turn the waist, chest is sort of square. Sit back your weight, rotate the chest. You're now more than square. Now we'll do the arm movements. So we're in ward off right. Right foot forward, right arm nice rounded shape. First, we're going to do a swing rotate. So as the chest turns, both arms rotate. Again, we start from here, swing rotate. Back to the starting position, out, swing rotate. In this position, your chest is more or less square. Your right arm is pointing towards the corner. Your left arm is rounded, fingertips pointing to the right forearm center. Again, starting from ward off, swing rotate. Your looking direction is looking out at the horizon in the direction of your right arm. So that's sort of in the general direction of the corner. Again, swing rotate. Now we're going to come back. Shift back your weight and swing. Start in ward off right. Swing rotate, arms to the corner. Sit back your weight, arms to the other corner. Ward off right. Swing rotate. Now if you think about this, your right arm pointing direction is going to change through 90 degrees. As you come back, it changes through 90 degrees and points at the other corner. In order to have your arm pointing at the corner, your chest is going to be turned more than corner. Your arm position hasn't changed. You still have your elbows down, palm out. This is a nice rounded shape. left fingertips to the right forearm center. Again, swing, rotate to the right, and pull down. Now, one of the things that I mentioned, and come out of that and stretch and shake it out a little bit, is one of the things that we try to do, one of the essential principles of Tai Chi Chuan, is that we move continuously without interruption. Now, between each of the movements, we actually have a pause. So it's not that the movement is without interruption. What Master Young-Jun says is it's the energy that moves without interruption. So if you imagine, I'm going to this side and I want to come back. If I'm just moving in this plane, I've got to go to this side and stop. And then I've got to start up again and come this way. What I want to do is to come back smoothly, and I actually put a circle at the edges. And when we do our waist exercises, we are working up to that. We're probably about 2 weeks away from actually being able to sit on the chair and do this circle, but we can practice it already in ward-off right. So going to your right bow stance again. So right leg forward, 60% on the front leg, right leg bent, knee not over toes, so knees behind toes, back leg naturally straight, shoulder width between your heels. We're in rollback. We're in ward off right. I'm going to just pause for a moment when I get halfway through. So I'm going to do a swing rotate. Now here, in order to come back, I'm going to put a slight circle here. So I'm going to go out and then down. Out and then down. So actually there's going to be, if I come out here, there's a little circle here. So the angle is like this. Goes out horizontally, and then there's a little circle at the end, and it comes down. So that allows us to move this continuously without interruption. One of the things that I want to introduce today, because this is a good place to do it, when we talk about doing moving practice, the main kind of moving practice that we all do always is sequence practice. So there's a sequence that we do, one thing to the next thing to the next thing, and that's what we're learning or reviewing. You can also do moving practice to look at the details of each individual movement, and that's called single movement practice. I'm going to just show you a little bit of single movement practice. It's where you actually speed up the movement slightly to begin to feel what's happening in your body. I don't want you to get too adventurous with this, because it's an easy way to hurt yourself. So I'm going to mirror you. So I'm going to face forward. So I'm going to imagine that you're facing the camera and you're in a right bow stance, so that you have the right leg forward. So I am mirroring you. So right leg forward. So this is your right ward off. So we're going to do swing, rotate, and then back. Reset, swing, rotate, swing. So go a little bit faster. Swing, rotate, swing. Swing, rotate, swing. Swing, rotate, swing. And one of the things you'll find, even if you just look at this movement forward and back, remember a few weeks ago when I was talking about rooting, I said, when you bring your weight back, you've got to push with your back leg to stop yourself. When you go forward, you've got to push back with the front leg. You should be able to feel this as you come back. You've got to stop yourself, and it's this back leg pushing that will stop you. So what you want to do is, this is absorbing the opponent's energy. This is delivering the movement. Reset. Out and back. Reset. Out and back. Let's do it at the other side. So in the sequence practice, we have a side on which we do things, and usually, we favor one side over the other. When we do moving practice, we try to practice both sides. So this may feel strange to you. So do a left bow stance. Have your left foot forward and have your right arm down, your left arm up. So now go to the other side. Swing, rotate to this side and come back. We don't actually do this movement in the form, in the sequence, but when you do moving practice, it's good to practice both sides, because when you think about Tai Chi Chuan as a martial art, you don't get to choose which side your opponent comes from. Your opponent can come from either side, so you have to practice both sides. The last thing that I want to use this, so go back to the stance that you know. So if you're mirroring me, you're in a right bow stance, right leg forward here. You remember I said that the waist leads the limbs. So as you turn your waist, you know, your arms move around. And by the way, one of the reasons why we started practicing on the diagonal is that when you move your weight back, your chest backwards and forwards, it's not always aligned with your hips, which is why we like have the chest and the hips at different angles. So one of the functions of the waist is an axle. It leads the limbs. The other function of the waist is to determine how big your movement is and where the energy is delivered. So for example, let's say we are in right ward off. We can do this movement. Let's say our opponent is really close. We can do a small movement. So it's just a small movement. And the size of the movement is determined by how far your waist rotates. If you're going to make a big movement, your waist makes a big movement. And so the other function of the waist is to determine the energy delivery and where it starts and stops. And with all these things that I'm introducing, we'll talk about this many more times as we go through the form. So this is a place to pause. I'm going to introduce the new movements in a moment, but let's just see if there are, yes, Judy.
Yes, when we were doing the waist exercises, I lost a little bit in the terminology. When we do the basic turn, is there a difference between a turn where our arms follow versus out of phase in terminology? So they're
No,
both swing.
they're both swing.
Mhm.
I think Master Young talks about synchronized and not synchronized.
Okay, that's what you had said, out of phase. And then when
Yes,
we went to word off left and you said swing, I thought, I need a word. So it's the synchronized versus not synchronized.
yes,
Okay, thank you.
yep. And actually, if you want to think, yes, and we'll actually talk about this unsynchronized one next week when we learn single whip.
Okay, yeah.
Any other questions? That's a great question. Thank you, Judy. Okay, so we are going to learn, in fact, two movements, but they are quite straightforward, I hope, movements. So we're in ward off right. So right leg forward, right arm. So you're ward off right. We've done roll back. And so the next movement is press. So let's first talk about the feet. So as you can see, my feet stay in the same place. So I'm not picking up my feet, I'm not walking, but there definitely is movement of the hips and movement of the weight. So as you remember, if you perform your roll back, your weight is back. It's 70% on the back leg, and your chest and your waist are more than corner. We're going to go in the forward direction, which is towards the right, or the 3 o'clock direction. And so to do that, we're going to turn our hips slightly and move our weight forward. So we're going to start at the back and move forward. Start at the back and move forward. Start at the back and move forward. And I can't help saying this because this is what I'm feeling in my body. When I push forward, I can feel that push and support of rooting because I'm pushing forward, my front leg is pushing back, and when I stop, I feel the pulse in my back foot. So look out for that. So now let's talk about the waist movement. So I've done roll back. So my arms, my chest and my hips are both more than corner. I'm going to go forward into a position where my chest is less than corner, between corner and straight. So there's going to be a slight movement. It's mostly actually the hips, and the waist comes along for the ride, going from here to here. Okay, let's go into roll back. So we are here in roll back. The arm movements. The first thing that happens is we're going to close the arms. Remember last week we were talking about yin and yang. Close and then open. So we're in roll back, we're at the back. The right arm is going to make a big circle. Imagine painting a circle with your fingertips, and it's going to close in front of your chest. Remember I said your chest turns in a bit, so your chest is turning towards your arm to make the space between your chest and your forearm smaller. At the same time, my left arm is going to rotate. So I'm in a ward-off shape with the left arm. It's going to rotate into a push shape. So I'm in ward-off here. Both arms rotate, turn the chest, everything closes. My left palm connects to my right forearm. The palm presses against the forearm, and then I push forward. Again, we've done roll back, we've finished roll back. So we're in this posture. With slight body turning, close the right arm, left palm against the right forearm, push up and out. Again, close, push up and out. So one of the things that relates to what I was saying about things moving in circles is that when you're absorbing energy, when your opponent is doing something and you're absorbing their energy before you deliver it back, you want to distribute their power over as large an area as possible. So when you're absorbing, you make a circle. When you're delivering, you go in a straight line. So what you're seeing here is when I'm closing, it's a circle, and then when I go forward, it's a straight line. Let's look at that. So I've done roll back. I'm going to close. This is a big circle. Now I'm going to push forward, and actually my forearm's going to go up a little bit. So push up and out, but it ends, my right arm ends in exactly the same position as it would when we were doing right ward off. So your right ward off arm is the same as your press arm. Your gaze is the same in the closing position. So you're looking straight over the center of your forearm. Your back is in line with your back leg. Head up, shoulders down, elbows down, chest rounded, waist relaxed. And relax. Okay. So let us practice from ward off right, roll back, and press. So let's do those three things. Well, actually, the two movements we'll do together. So we're in ward off right. We're going to go into roll back. Both arms rotate as my waist turns, arms to the corner. Sit down, my weight, both arms move, right arm pointing to the other corner. Now, press, close, big circle with the fingertips. Close the arms. Your arms are close to your chest now. Shift forward your weight and press. Start again. We're in. So all you have to do to get back to ward off right position is just drop your left hand. Roll back. Press. Circle with the fingertips of the right hand as the arm closes in front, left palm to right forearm center, and press out. Ward off right position. Roll back. Press. Close the chest. Press out. So the name of this form, the name of this movement, or this energy, in fact, Ji, which I apologize for my pronunciation, is usually, I'm told, squeezing. The way the way I think about this movement is one. If you want to lift a weight, like you've got a car and you want to lift a car, I don't know if you've seen this. You can actually put an industrial grade balloon under the vehicle and then inflate the balloon, and that balloon will lift the car off the ground. It's also used when rescuing people out of wrecks and stuff like that. So this press movement, when you're doing this press movement, imagine that there is a balloon. So the balloon is collapsed and then the balloon expands. So this is press. It's a squeeze out. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So the press that I'm doing is actually with the outside of my forearm. The left hand is against my right forearm. You really can't see it very well, can you? No, you can't. There's no easy way of doing this, I don't think. But essentially, think about the surface of your palm, the flat of your palm is pressing against the middle of your forearm. Okay, so that is press. Now we're going to do push. So we'll start again in right ward off. Let's go through the sequence that we've learned so far. So roll back, press, push. I'm going to flatten my palms, square my chest, bring the arms back, sit them in front of my chest, and push out. So let's break down the movements. So I'm starting in this bow stance. When I've done press, I'm in this forward bow stance. My back is in line with my legs, hopefully. I'm here. I'm going to sit back my weight. So I'm going to bend the back leg, straighten the front leg. Remember that we try and keep our hips at the same height. So don't go up and then down again. As the back leg bends, the front leg straightens, and vice versa. The other thing I want you to remember is as you shift your weight back, keep your torso tilted in this forward direction. The main reason you want to do that is if you're in this posture and your opponent pushes you on the chest, if they push you here, their push will just go straight into the ground and you can absorb with your leg. If you are back like this and they push, you will just fall over. You've got no way of resisting. So you want to keep this torso tilt in the front leg. In terms of your body movement, so we are in press. So again, if we just have our hold the barrel arms, where our chest is between corner and straight, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to straighten. So we're going to straighten so that our chest is square, and we're going to come back and go out again. So we're going to start a little bit more than straight, less than corner. First, square the chest, come back, go forward. Now we'll add the arms. So join me if you will. So we're in press. So right bow stance, right leg forward, right arm in nice ward off, left palm on the right forearm. The first thing we do is we're going to flatten the palms. So your left palm goes over the top of your right palm, square your chest. So in order to do this, this is a waist turn here. If you try and turn at the hips, I'll show it this way. If I'm here and I'm trying to square myself by turning my hips, you'll see that your crotch collapses. In order to keep your crotch rounded, when you come back, when you straighten, it has to be a waist turn. So your waist has to be able to turn independently of your hips. And if you had any doubts as to why we're doing those exercises, this is why. Okay, let's keep going. So I'm in press. Flatten the palms. Now, I'm going to pull back the palms until they're about this angle here. Then there's going to be a circle as they sit in front of my chest. Then as I push forward, they're going to go back up again to shoulder height. So they're going to come back, make a circle and sit, and push out. Start again. So we're in, finished with push. First, straighten the shoulders, palms both pointing down. Now, as you shift back your weight, arms come back and then sit. Press with the back leg, arms come forward, pressing out. One of the things I want to underline here is the waist movement. So remember, with the footwork, we start at the front, go back, and then go forward. So there's a movement in the legs. The energy of the legs is then translated in energy of the waist, and that then moves the arms. So let's do that together. We're in press. Flatten the palms, chest square, legs don't move. Shift back your weight, bending the legs, arms come back horizontally, palms come back horizontally, and then sit. Press out. Again, we're in press. Flatten the palms, arms shoulder width apart, shoulder height. As you shift back your weight, palms come back, and then they sit. So when you're in this position here, your palm should be vertical. So imagine that you can press with the flat of your palms. Then we're going to push up and out, back up to shoulder height. Make sure that you have a bend in your arm here so that your palm is vertical. If your arm is too straight, you can't get your palm vertical and you can't do a good press. So have a slight tilt here. Okay, so before we practice these a whole lot of times together, I just want to ask Susan if she can come in, and I just want to show you our approximation of how we do these applications. Okay, so the reason why Susan and I are showing you this is just to give you some sort of idea of how to imagine an opponent and imagine what you're doing with your body. This is absolutely not a canonical way of doing it. If you really want to see how it's done, come to Nancy and Mike's refinement classes where they will show you how it's really done. Okay, so what we're going to do is let's start with rollback. So let's say Susan punches and I'm doing a rollback. So I've done a rollback here. If Susan knows what she's doing, she can actually, so I've got her, elbow up. So I've got this movement here. She can counteract that by rotating her elbow. So now I've got nothing. Don't relax. So if she does that, I press out. So let's just show that again. So she does this. So let's say I've tried to do rollback. She counters and I counter. So this, when I'm doing rollback, let's come in a little bit. So Susan is coming in. I'm doing rollback. So here the energy point, the contact point is the forearm center. When she resists, the energy point, the contact point becomes the outside. So when I do press, I'm pushing with the outside here. If I want more power, I can put my left palm here and push as well. But actually, that's sufficient to do this press. Push. Let's say Susan comes and grabs at me. I ward off up and then push out. Again. So ward off up, and then from here, legs, waist, arms, push. The last thing I want to show you is, can I just get a ward off arm? Actually, let's try that one. Yes. So if I'm gonna push Susan, let's come sort of here. It doesn't help for me to push with my fingertips. I really don't get a lot of power. I want to have my palms against her forearm. So this is the push. So that's why our palms are sitting when we come down and press up. Thank you, Susan. So for example, if I come down this low, I can't push from here. So don't come too low, just come to this position and then push up and out. Good. So now let us put those movements together, and we'll start at the end of rollback and do press and push a few times. So we're in a right bow stance. Let's just start from right ward off so that we're all on the same page with rollback. So swing rotate to the right corner, sit back your weight to the left. So I've done rollback. Press, turn the waist, close the right arm, left palm to right forearm center. Push out with the legs, arms forward. That's press. Push, flatten the palms. Chest is now square. Sit back your weight, palms come back horizontally and sit in front of your chest. Push with the legs, then the waist, then the arms, and you're finished. Okay, footwork's the same. We're going to go at the end of rollback. So the right arm is to the corner. Left arm, nice big round ward-off shaped fingertips to right forearm center. Press, big circle with the fingertips of the right hand. Right arm comes in, closes towards the chest. Left palm on the right forearm. Pushing out. Push. Flatten the palms. Square the chest. With weight shifting back, palms come back horizontally. Sit in front of the chest and push out. End of ward off, right. Press, close. Big circle, close in front of the chest. The balloon is collapsed. Now open the balloon as you press up and out. Press, flatten the palms. Sit back, go around the circle at the end. Now push up and out. Again, end of rollback. Press. With waist rotation, close the arms, pressing out. Looking forward, torso tilted forward, head up. Shoulders down, elbows down. Push. Flatten the palms. Square the chest. Both palms are now facing down, shoulder width apart in front of your body. Sit back your weight. Bring the palms back horizontally. Sit them in front of your chest. Now, starting with your back foot, push with the back leg, then push with the arms and out. Your finishing position, you're in a bow stance, torso tilted forward, palms shoulder height, slight bend in your forearms so that your palms are standing vertically, head up, looking in the 3 o'clock direction. And again, this will be our last one. Press. Rotate the chest, close the arms, press out. push, flatten the palms, pull back, sit, push out, and stop. 同学们，再见。
Thank you, teacher.
再见。